Hello, and welcome to this Friday installment of the Military and Veterans Unit of Lone Star Legal Aid's Vet Week presentations. My name is April Batista Necker, and I am one of the staff attorneys here in our Military and Veterans Unit. And today we will be discussing the education benefits as well as VA home loans. And just as a little disclaimer, we are attorneys here. Just wanted to let you know that this presentation is not to constitute legal advice. It is legal information. If you want to seek out some legal advice, you can contact Lone Star Legal Aid at 1-800-733-8394 or to go to www.lonestarlegal.org for more information or legal assistance. And before I get started on the education benefits and the VA home loan presentation, I just want to tell you a little bit about our Military and Veterans Unit here at Lone Star Legal Aid. We serve low-income active duty soldiers, veterans, their spouses, dependents, as well as surviving spouses of veterans. We provide civil legal services in 72 counties in East and Southeast Texas and the gamut throughout that can cover cities such as Texarkana, Houston, out to Waco, Belton, etc. So it is a big area. And in regards to the civil legal services, we provide assistance with veterans benefits, which can include discharge upgrades, the education benefits that I'm talking about today, as well as home loan assistance and things of that nature. We also handle evictions and foreclosures, family law matters such as divorces, child custody, family law issues. We assist with wills, estate planning, some probate matters. We also handle a lot of consumer issues, including bankruptcy and debt collection. And we handle public benefits, including denials of assistance such as SNAP benefits, Social Security, and those type of benefits. We also handle expunctions and non-disclosures. We do not handle criminal matters. And now I'll get into our presentation today, which is the education and the veterans home loan benefits. I will start off on the GI Bill. And this is an excellent benefit. You can receive up to 36 months of benefits, including tuition and fees, money for housing, as well as money for books and supplies. In regards to the tuition and fees, if you qualify for the maximum benefit, it could cover the full cost of a public in-state tuition and fees. The rates for private and foreign schools are capped, and those rates are updated each year. You can go and look on the VA website for those rates as well. They can also help cover money for moving from a rural area to go to school. You can qualify for this one-time payment of $500 if you live in a county with 6 or fewer people per square mile, and you're either moving at least 500 miles to go to school or have no other option but to fly by plane to get to your school. How do you qualify for these benefits? You must meet at least one of the requirements that I have listed here below. One, served at least 90 days on active duty, and that can be either one whole period of time, or you can have several periods with breaks in service as long as it's that 90 days on active duty. That's after September 11th, 2001, or received a Purple Heart on or after that same date, and were honorably discharged after any amount of service, or you served for at least 30 continuous days with no break in service after September 11th, 2001, or a dependent child using those benefits that were transferred by a qualifying veteran. The benefit percentages, they range depending upon lengths of service. And I have a little chart there for you outlining those. So if you're interested in those, feel free to come back and, look at this presentation to get those specific amounts. They can go anywhere if you've served at least 36 months to covering that full 100%, like I was discussing earlier, down to, 50%, et cetera, in those in between. Question people often ask these days is, do those benefits expire? And that depends upon when you were discharged from active duty. So if your service ended before January 1st, 2013, your benefits will expire 15 years after your last separation date from active duty. And you must use all of your benefits by that time, or you'll lose whatever is left. However, a new law came into being, the Harry W. Comrie Veterans Educational Assistance Act, which if your service ended after that January 1st, 2013 date, your benefits will not expire. So that was a great law that was passed. And of course, you can apply by submitting the, that's the title of the application, the form, by phone. You can seek out a veteran service officer, apply at your local regional office. And that was the federal GI benefit. I'm going to transfer over now to the Hazelwood Act, which actually is a tuition exemption benefit good at any state-supported college for up to 150 credit hours. Now, this is more of a Texas-specific benefit that waives tuition and fees, again, for those 150 credit hours, but it does not cover the books or living expenses. And a legacy law allows the transfer of those unused credit hours to dependent children, which is a very good benefit. And also in situations where the eligible veteran dies, the surviving spouses and dependents may be eligible for those tuition waivers. To be eligible for this Hazelwood Act, at the time of entry into active duty, you must have designated Texas as your home of record, or entered the service in Texas, or were a Texas resident. One of those at the time that you entered active duty. You must also have served at least 181 days of active duty service, not counting your training, and you currently reside here in Texas. You must have had a discharge status of honorable, or separation or a general discharge under honorable conditions as indicated on your certificate of release or discharge. You can't have any federal education benefits or have no federal education benefits dedicated to the payment of tuition and fees only for the term or semester enrolled that do not exceed the value of your Hazelwood benefits. And you must not be in default on any student loan made or guaranteed by the state of Texas. You must enroll in classes for which the college receives tax support, unless that particular college's governing board has ruled to let veterans receive the benefit while taking the non-funded courses. And you must also meet the GPA requirements of that school that outlines how you progress in a degree or certificate program. And to apply, you first have to be, of course, admitted to the Texas College or University. And how? You submit your application paperwork, and of course, and be sure to have, all of your proof of eligibility in regards to your discharge paperwork, your eligibility or ineligibility for the GI benefits, turn in the application form to the financial aid office at your school. And now we'll turn to the Yellow Ribbon Act. And this program is the tuition program for veterans that can help you pay for those out-of-state schools, higher private schools, or even graduate tuition that the 9/11 GI Bill doesn't cover. If the school and yourself meet the requirements of, qualifying for the maximum benefit rate under the post 9/11 GI Bill, you have to have at least, again, one of the following: serving that 36 months on active duty, or receiving the Purple Heart after September 11th, were honorably discharged after any amount of service, again, served the 32 contiguous days, or the dependent child, or a Frye Scholar. And of course, the school also actually has to meet certain requirements. They offer the program, and that they haven't offered that program to more than the maximum number of students in that school's agreement with the Veterans Affairs. And they have to certify your enrollment with the Veterans Affairs and provide, the Yellow Ribbon Program with that information. And in order to do this, you also have to apply for that post 9/11 GI Bill benefits. If you qualify for those benefits, you'll get a certificate of eligibility, and you need to take that COE to your school's certifying official, to the financial aid office, the military liaison, or whichever is the appropriate office in that school, and ask to apply for that Yellow Ribbon Program. And to find out, if your school participates in that Yellow Ribbon Program, you can search each school on the VA Education website. And enrollment is on a first come, first served basis. So I would recommend getting those applications in, as quickly as possible. Your school decides the amount of funding you'll receive. And they do that by adding up all the tuition and, fees associated. And then they take, subtract any aid that you've received from other sources, of course, scholarships, grants, of course, your post 9/11 GI Bill. And then the school will apply that Yellow Ribbon Program benefit to that final amount that remains. Now, those were, kind of more veteran specific unless they transfer those benefits. But there are also Chapter 35 survivors benefits. And through this program, eligible dependents and survivors of certain veterans and service members can obtain education and training opportunities. And to be eligible to be a service member's child, spouse, or surviving spouse. And that regional processing office is who deems the individual eligible, and it's based on several of the following: whether the veteran's death was caused by service-connected disability, the veteran is rated for total and permanent service-connected disability, or the service member died in the line of duty after October 10, 2001, excuse me. The service member is missing in action, captured in the line of duty, or forcibly detained for longer than 90 days. The service member who the VA has determined have a service-connected permanent and total disability that will lead to a discharge from the military service. The benefits of that program is that it's monthly payments to cover the cost of college or grad school, career training certificate courses, educational career counseling, and on-the-job training. If you began using the program before August 1st, 2018, individuals can get benefits for up to 45 months. But if you began using the program after that, then the individuals can use the benefits for up to 36 months. As far as how long these benefits last, a child can use the benefits between the ages of 18 up to 26. So they must be used before the child turns 26. The spouse may use from the date the VA concludes they qualify, or on the date of the veteran's death, and they last for only 10 years. If the veteran has been rated permanently and totally disabled with an effective date that's 3 years after discharge, the spouse will actually qualify for benefits for 20 years from that effective date. And if the service member died on active duty, the benefits end 20 years from the date of death. And again, you can contact your school to ensure that that is a program that is approved for the veterans benefits. And you can apply online as well as submitting your application by mail. And I put the name of the form there for you. Something that we've got several questions on here recently, especially during this, COVID-19 time period, is what happens to their benefits if the school closes. Okay. And so for the GI Bill benefits, there are three important timeframes to consider. The first is August 1st to September 30th, 2023. So that's covering this time period now. You may actually get the full amount of your GI Bill back as if you've never even used it if you meet certain criteria. And they're very detailed. So I'm not going to get into all those today. But that's a very important change if the school has closed. From the period of August 16th, 2017 to August 1st, 2021, you may get back only the one semester or term you were in at the moment the school closed. And again, they have certain criteria that's listed for that. From January 1st, 2015 to August 16 of 2017, you may again get the full amount of benefits back. So if you, again, are having issues with those type of problems, legal concerns and other questions, feel free again to call us here at Lone Star Legal Aid in our Military and Veterans Unit to see if we can assist you with that. One of the questions that going along with the school's closures is whether or not, what happens to the monthly housing allowance. So if there was a temporary closure due to the COVID-19, the Veterans Affairs will continue to pay the monthly housing allowance through the end of that term or for 28 days. When the school closes or is disapproved, you may be eligible to continue receiving that monthly housing allowance payment until the original end of the term or for 120 days, whichever occurs sooner. But that is only if the closure or the disapproval happened after August 16th of 2017. And now I'm going to kind of turn this presentation over to talk about a little bit of the VA home loans, another excellent benefit that's offered. And there's several different types of loans. There are VA direct loans, and that's where the VA serves as your actual mortgage lender and manages your loan. There are VA-backed loans, and that's where you have a private lender, but the VA actually guarantees a portion of that home loan. And of course, that protection for the lenders is that the lender may recover some or all of their losses in the event of a foreclosure. Purchase loans. They're for buying, building, or even improving your home. Of course, they can reduce or eliminate the upfront cost for the buyers. No down payments, no PMI, the private mortgage insurance or mortgage insurance premiums. You have to live in the home that you're buying. There's no penalty fee if the loan's paid off early. And then there's also the Native American Direct Loan Program. And that's available if you or your spouse is Native American. Again, it's to buy, build, or improve the home on federal trust land. And again, it reduces some of those upfront costs for the buyer and offers low interest 30-year fixed mortgages. The one good thing I want to point out about this program is that it is a reusable benefit. You can use it more than once, so you're not limited to just one-time purchase. The other type I wanted to discuss is the interest rate reduction refinance loan. And that is to restructure an already existing VA-backed home loan. And it could lower your monthly payments due to a lower interest rate. You could convert your interest rate to an adjustable or variable to fixed. And you have to certify for this program that you live in or you lived in the home covered by the loan. They also have available cash out refinance loans. And this is where you can take cash out of your home equity to pay off debt, pay for school, make home improvements, or take care of some other needs. You can refinance a non-VA loan into a VA-backed loan. And again, you'll have to live in the house you're refinancing with the loan. Eligibility criteria, you must obtain the certificate of eligibility to demonstrate you qualify for the VA home loan benefit. And you can go online to do that, or you can request that certificate of eligibility through the mail. Now, there are also some of these benefits for the surviving spouses to be able to get that determination of eligibility. If you're receiving the dependency and indemnity compensation, you can request for the determination of loan eligibility. And if you're not receiving the DIC compensation, you can apply for the DIC survivors pension and accrued benefits. And that's the VA form 21P-534EZ. And of course, you have to supply the DD-214, the proof of the relationships, which is the marriage license, as well as the death certificates for that. Unfortunately, with the VA loans, it doesn't mean you get out of the credit or income requirements. They still have credit standards as well as income requirements. And the VA still has to appraise the house, estimating the house's market value at the time of the inspection. And you may need to pay a VA funding fee. There are full entitlements or no limits on loans over $144,000, no down payment, and guaranteed to a lender that the VA pays up to 25% of that loan amount if you default. You can contact the VA Regional Loan Center, and I've provided their phone number as well as the internet address that you can look up there online. And I wanted to let you know that if you have, any questions, need legal advice, more additional information, or assistance, having troubles with those programs, that you can apply for services here at Lone Star Legal Aid, our Military and Veterans Unit. At 1-844-400-VETS, which is 8387. You can send an email to vethelp@lonestarlegal.org, or you can apply on our main website at www.lonestarlegal.org. And so I'm just going to see if there's any questions in the chat box. I'll give it just a second or two to see if there are any questions. I don't see that there's any questions, so I will end this presentation. And like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call or contact us via the email or the website. Thank you.